Hey, we are so excited to be here with Sean Hamel, the art of dental marketing. Sean, how you doing?
Spencer, good to see you always, man. Everything's great over here, man. How's everything up there? Cold, I
So,
bet.
so good. Cold, Salt Lake City cold, and we love it cold. We love the snow and hoping for some more, like another year like last year.
Oh man, I am not of the same sentiment, my friend. I cannot stand cold and snow.
Um, Sean, this is so fun to take two completely different areas of the dental business as we introduce Sean and the art of dental marketing. Sean is the founder CEO of the art of dental marketing. And today you would be asking, how does Sean and the art of dental marketing and dentist advisors from a financial advising perspective mesh? And today we're here to say, and share in a lot of different ways.
Mm,
And hope to share all of those different questions and answers with you as we dive into um, the things that Sean hears on his side of the business with respect to um, cost, ROI, budgeting, all things that Sean hears when talking about marketing. And from our side of the house at Dentist Advisors, we will share with how the dentist looks at different line items on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis, year over year, what their gains were from a marketing perspective. And also, it's not necessarily the introduction to all things social media, but uh, a lot of social media doesn't cost anything anymore. And so therefore the practice thinks I'm spending so much time inside of social, but my gains are not coming in, or I don't need somebody that understands marketing because my front desk and myself am so good at Instagram. I got this. I'll handle it.
right.
Um, so Sean, welcome you and want to turn time to you for a minute to give an introduction on the art of dental marketing and how it came about and how you've built your business to this
Yeah.
point.
Thanks so much, man. I'm always glad to connect. We've had a lot of fun in the past in a few different organizations, but ADM is a story-based dental marketing agency. So I entered dental marketing back in around 2014-ish, 14, 15. I have a degree in marketing. I was working for a dental financial services company at the time doing marketing. And when you have a degree in marketing, you kind of become who everybody comes to with questions about marketing and websites and things. And so I had a couple of friends who were also dentists that I'd met that had questions about their marketing. And they were just like, hey, can you like look at the proposals that we're getting, give us some pointers, tell us which company to choose. And I looked at the proposals and was like, man, this is really expensive. And like, I don't see anything equating to the dollar amount of the costs. I would keep looking, and to which they had said, well, why don't, can you just help me out? Like, can you help me out with some blogging and stuff? And so that's how I got started. And when I first got started, Spencer, I wasn't super good at this. I mean, I used everything that I learned in school, which in dentistry doesn't necessarily translate to success because dentistry is so unique. And so in working, luckily I had really great friends that were my first clients, if you will. So they gave me a lot of grace, a lot of ability to try things. But we really started to understand that selling dentistry isn't necessarily about the dentistry. It's really about the relationship, the likability of the doctor, the comfort people have, the patient experience, those kind of things. And once we really figured that out, we were able to really speak to the patient base, really speak to, the education level, geographic area, language, the way people talk and things like that. So we were able to really fine tune the marketing message. And most dental marketing is not necessarily about getting people's attention. The hard part's converting traffic to where it's an actual patient and you're making money. And that's really where I feel like ADM is elite, is that conversion aspect using story-based marketing. That's really where I think we thrive and where we shine for our clients. And we've done this hundreds of times now with practices all over the country. And it's not a silver bullet, it's not a gimmick, it's just understanding human behavior and the fact that people are scared to go to the dentist. So that
Mhm.
really affects the buying decision a lot differently than if they were buying like a car per se. And the fact that even as a clinician doing dentistry, most people don't necessarily want to know what you're going to do to them. They just kind of want you to fix it. And they want to know, can I watch Netflix? Do you have massage chairs? Oh, my
Mhm.
cousin went to that practice and it was awesome. Like that's really at the core what affects people saying yes to this doctor or no, you know? And so once we figure that out, we just have built an amazing recipe of story-based marketing, industry-related marketing in terms of dentistry, and then also just understanding dental practices, even though their collections and things are really high, they're really small businesses with a really small footprint for the most part. So there's aspects of digital and ground marketing that need to take place. A lot of strategy. I mean, that's where too, when I started ADM, I never had really envisioned it being what it is now, but seeing the needs that doctors have for like a real marketing partner, somebody that's creative and who's proactive, not where they're signing like a long-term contract and then they're kind of on their own and they're like, well, what do I do? And the marketing companies are saying, well, we just build your website. We don't do the strategy stuff. Like, what are you talking about? You know? And so just seeing that need and then treating each practice individually because each doctor is different. Like that's the real brand differentiator is the doctor, you know, at the helm and their vision and what they want to give as a patient experience. So we've just been able to maneuver over the last 9 years and really have figured out a great setup where we can individualize each practice's marketing plan, but do it in a way that we can help a lot of offices at the same time.
So good. Sean, talk about what's interesting is when you lead with story-based marketing, that's unique in and of itself. And talk about the the meaning of story-based marketing as a and especially you mentioned inside of dentistry, it is unique and some are scared of the dentist. Talk
Mm.
about story-based
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah, great question. So really in dentistry, specifically to dentistry, you've got that fear basis. So statistically, most people in an area are fearful. So that's a big hurdle that most practices don't even realize necessarily because you know you get so busy you kind of forget about the core issues you're dealing with. Then you have the public who doesn't know who the best clinician is. So telling them all of the, you know, most people know if you're a dentist, you're a doctor, you're smart. Like you don't have to tell me you're smart. I know you're smart. Like you're way smarter than me, right? So that marketing message gets lost on people. And if you look at a lot of the dental websites, some of them are just kind of, hey, this is very clinical. Here's me in my white coat. Here's how smart I am. And that's kind of the end of the marketing message. Whereas when we're fearful and apprehensive, like most people are, as human beings, we like poke and prod. We look for commonality. That's why referrals are so strong for practices because you have that trusted friend, family member that's saying, hey, this place is okay. This doctor's great. The experience was awesome. And it takes that veil down, right? It takes that fear basis down. But when you don't have that and you have somebody that's choosing, but you know, they're looking at you and five other practices and everybody's saying the same things, everybody's in their white coat, everybody's saying how smart they are, they all have the alphabet soup after their name. It doesn't differentiate anything. It doesn't say anything. But that's where the practice is where, and some doctors just naturally are better at this, right? They're just naturally better at being more relaxed in things because it is, you know, there's a line. You don't want to be too personal, but you also don't want to be so clinician, right? But some people just naturally are better at towing that line. But for the most part, when you show people, hey, you know, I'm into photography, or like, you know, I always see you and your family like mountain biking, right? Like you guys are always outside doing stuff. The benefit of that is if, you know, maybe we have hobbies that align. And so that makes you more compelling and interesting. And it makes me less fearful because I have something in common with you. So I'm humanizing the doctor. I'm showing them, hey, this person's married, they have a family, you know, whatever those elements are. And we have clients that are photographers, kayakers, fishermen, cross-country skiers. I mean, we have clients that do all kinds of stuff. And I ask them, I'm like, you know, if you think of your favorite patients, you guys have probably have things in common that have nothing to do with dentistry. It's just you're talking and you find out, oh yeah, I go to that church, or oh yeah, I love that restaurant or whatever. And you build these relationships with people. You can do that with your marketing with complete strangers by just putting yourself into the message.
Yeah.
And then you just show people, here's the experience of working with me. And you know, again, we're fearful. So if I can show you the operatory, the office, the faces you're going to see, what it's going to be like. And then I have reviews and testimonials that are not only are they helping me rank better, but they're affirming, hey, everything that they're saying is true and more. Like the patient experience is everything they said, it was awesome. It all works together where you just calm people, and it's people start to feel like soothed. They feel more comfortable with you. So it's easier to pick you from the other 5 offices. And at no point does it really have anything to do with the dentistry. It's
Yeah.
not about like, you don't need to tell me the ins and outs of the root canal. I just want to know, are you going to hurt me? Have you hurt anybody else? How comfortable am I going to be? Can I watch Netflix? You know,
Yeah.
like those are the kind of things that really make a buying decision for a dentist.
Yeah. There's a major difference in hearing Sean just explain that. I gather there is such a major difference between advertising and story-based telling. Like anyone can read what you do at your office, but until you understand how you'll feel, right? There's a big difference there.
Yeah, and that's what I'd said at the beginning of the call. It's like the advertise making noise, getting people to pay attention, getting eyeballs on you is every marketer can do that. Where in dental, why I've heard a lot of doctors say marketing doesn't work, or they've spent a lot and they're not getting results. It's because they're not focused on that conversion piece. And
Yeah.
when it's just you and 5 other doctors, all with the same photos, all saying the same things, it's all super clinical. There's nothing differentiating. It's going to come down to who's the cheapest, who's the closest to my house. Like, and those are things you can't really help. I mean, wherever your practice is, you can't help if somebody's 0.3 miles closer. But if you can show a better experience, of course, that person's going to drive a little bit further to get a better experience. So that's really it. I mean, as far as what makes ADM, I feel elite, is just our ability to help practices convert traffic.
Yeah. To hone in on a little more of what you said about a doctor potentially being skeptical or anyone onboarding someone to help with marketing. Sean, you mentioned that you become a partner with the doctor in building the model and the story, if you will, together. Our business is very similar in that it is uh, client, dentist, and financial advisor working together to figure out the best way to organize finances for the current and the long run, and what is being done inside the practice to increase and to have it be organized. So the topic comes up because marketing is a line item on side anytime you're reviewing a P&L on a monthly basis. And so I think that we resonate well with that, in that Sean partners with the doctor to ensure that they are comfortable with the model and the plan. Very, very important, versus someone signing up for a website design and saying, see you later, right?
Yeah, or I mean, typically it's a long-term agreement, which I've never understood. I mean, I understand it from a making money perspective, a business perspective, but I've never really understood it in a marketing capacity, the long-term contracts that are out there. I've never really understood that piece. Like everything we do is month to month. For me, it was just, I didn't want doctors to feel pressured or locked in, like I mean, good relationships, obviously you both, you're both in because you choose to be there.
Yeah.
And that just seems like the best kind of way to have a partnership with a doctor, because, our method doesn't work for everybody. There's some doctors that say, hey, I don't really want to think about marketing, like just set it and forget it. And we can do that. But really, I mean, if you're not going to lay in the elements of what we do, you could probably find people to do it cheaper. We're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive, but there are people that, some doctors just like, hey, just build me something basic and let it go.
Yeah.
And so, so with regard to like the line item for marketing itself, I've never really seen, I know there's people that say, X% of collections is what you should spend on marketing. And that's where the strategy part comes in, because every office that we work with is different. So I've never understood how you can really mass produce dental marketing where you have a big package bundle that everybody signs up for. They all get the same thing because every office is really different.
Yeah.
You know, we learned this lesson, gosh, probably 6, 7 years ago. We were working with a group up in the Chicago area, but they also had practices out in the suburbs, right? And so we're doing implants, we're doing, big marketing campaign for this privately owned but multi-location group. And we were seeing different trends just in extractions, like in the white collar, the loop, or the higher income, higher education, right? There's more search volume for the word extraction. And then out in the burbs where it's more blue collar, not to say anything negative about that, but you have lower education, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are looking more for like tooth pulled. I need to get a tooth pulled. They're not saying I need to get a tooth extracted.
Yeah.
So just seeing those little differences and nuances in language, as a partner, you pay attention to that and you make better ROI for your client by actually diving into the data and not just like set it and forget it kind of campaigns.
Yeah.
So that's where when people say, "Oh, how much should I spend on marketing?" It's like, well, where are you at? What's your competition look like? A
Mm.
doctor in rural Idaho is going to have a different budget than somebody in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
How much are you willing to go out in the community yourself? Because we do a lot of ground marketing strategy, and we've been able to have great results for docs just looking at a map with them and saying, what are you willing to do? Like one of our docs, Spencer, she was in northern Colorado, and she's in, brand new practice, new construction, and she's in like a strip mall, and she's at this end, and she has Starbucks at this end, and the drive-through wraps around her practice,
Mm.
right? It's all glass. It's all new construction. So, we're
Yeah.
looking and I'm like, why don't we just design window clings and just pop them
Oh,
up? And as these people are sitting in line,
yeah.
and she starts to get phone calls
Oh, yeah.
because
Oh,
of right. And all she did was invest in window clings. It's so we don't have to spend so much money
right.
chasing people because we're effectively using the area where we are, and we're running concise 3 to 5 mile pockets of planning. And then outside of that's where you go like implants, the things people are going to drive further for.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, a lot of dentists, I feel like when I talk to them, they're like, hey, I've spent a lot of money. I'm not getting a lot of results. But there's no real planning or strategy going into it, like I've said. So they're not really making any kind of a custom plan for their area. It's just kind of blanket. It's here's
Yeah.
a citywide campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've also got there's no differentiation of here's what you should specifically do for your practice to grow.
Yep.
Like, is your goal to own 3 offices, 5 offices? Do you just want this office? Like, do you want to do clear aligners? Do you want to just do bread and butter? Where do you want to go? Doctors have every right to market their practices for now, but also for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the marketing that's out there just isn't designed that way. It's all, like you said at the beginning, it's set it and forget it. And it's kind of like, hey, pay us. Here's the 800 number. Give us a shout.
Yep.
And that's not really how you market, especially a small business. Like you need a partner. You need somebody being creative and strategic for you so that you can be a dentist.
Yeah. I totally agree. Staying on that partner side, Sean, your degree, your background happens to be very in alignment with our business as well in uh, finance marketing. Exactly. Don't let me ruin the name. Tell me again, Sean. You said your background in school in finance and in marketing,
Yeah.
and um, so here's one of the questions that comes up is okay. You're reviewing the end of the month. You're reviewing quarterly and even annually, and marketing is a spend. Um, well, they see the ROI, let's say, in the marketing, and then the question comes up, do I double down based on how well the marketing is going? And this is where the partner of Sean and the client comes into play rather than like, where did my marketing person go
Yeah. Well,
to make the decisions like you're
Yeah,
talking?
and A/B testing is huge. Like with landing pages, building custom landing pages is like it's necessary because you have to see what's going to work. As a Is a photo of a mom with her kids going to work better than a photo of just, some stock photo of a guy on the beach? And that always cracks me up. I mean, not in a, I shouldn't say cracks me up, but I always kind of chuckle when I see a doctor that's in like Wisconsin, and then you
Uh-huh.
look at their marketing and it's like a couple walking on the beach, and it's like, come on, man, like you're not hitting home for people, right? Um, but yeah, I mean that's how marketing should work. And before I worked in dentistry, working in marketing, like, if Pepsi hires a marketing agency to do their Super Bowl commercial, part of the fee they're paying is for strategy, creativity,
Right.
thinking of ways to optimize. How can I max my ROI? It's not just, here, sign this contract, pay us, we'll give you what we told you we'll give you, and we don't do
Yeah.
anything custom.
Yeah. Pausing on that, Sean. Sean is not just about assets, deliverables,
Right.
right? Your background allows to to dig in and understand the strategy and what the outcome will be. And then more importantly, not only then, but then now what's the long-term plan and future of what we are building together?
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I think you're remembering when we were in Vegas and I was telling you I thought I wanted to be a financial advisor at one time, and
Mhm.
went to work at a company called the Mutual Fund Store. That was my first job out of high school. I started in the stockroom filling up their office supplies and worked my way up to I think it was strategic account manager or something like that. But quickly realized I was not smart enough to be one, and wasn't built to sit in a cubicle and look at prospectuses all day. So there was a pivot.
Oh man, Sean, there's offices that are wondering if it's too late to start on they don't have a social media background yet, meaning like they are hesitant because they are intimidated by practices that have this real strong social media following and they've been nailing it now for like the last 5 years. And the doctor today is like, how there's no way I can just start and make my first post for our practice that is funny or fun or inviting or a call to action. Um, again, talk to that Dr. Sean, and also, again, I feel like the partner piece of it that you bring is very valuable.
I appreciate that, man. And I'm a little different on social media, with docs, in getting them to understand a high follower count doesn't really equate to profit. So doesn't mean you're going to get new patients. So what is it, and you wanting to spend $1,500 a month for a TikTok consultant? Like, what's your end goal? I mean, it's cool if you want to make funny videos, but you also have to understand, like, you're worth 750, $800 an hour, roughly. Then you're paying your team. So anytime you guys are in the break room trying to make a funny dance video, it's costing you money
Yeah,
that you're not necessarily going to get back.
yeah.
And I just had this conversation with a startup that we're working with. She gained 150 followers on Facebook in her first 2 weeks, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And she's so focused. Well, I want to get more. It's like, well, why? Like, we're focusing now on the fact that the schedule's full is good, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So why are we worried about, like, what's your driver? Do you want that community influence? And also understanding, just because you have a lot of followers doesn't necessarily mean that the community, the actual physical community where you are, that you have more sway or more of an impact there. Whereas maybe you and your team would be better served using your time to go to a farmer's market, right? Or to
mm,
go to a community event where you can engage with people actually that will turn into patients for you.
completely.
And I think social media is important, but also understanding, like, you're a small business. So having 100,000 followers nationwide is cool, and it could be a way to earn some extra income.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in terms of like the practice growing,
Uh-huh.
not necessarily going to happen. And it can't happen for everybody. There's only so many influencers, right? That's going to be able to get these patients to fly across the country to see them. Is it
Absolutely.
really worth your time to focus on those people? I would say, and I always tell our clients, just be yourself, document your journey. Like, it's, if you and your team just, you have lunch or coffee or whatever, and you celebrate somebody's birthday or whatever, document that stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
I personally wouldn't, at the cost to a practice, when the doctor's involved, the team's involved, do it understanding, hey, I'm not going to make my money back. This is just for fun. And
Yep.
don't put so much weight on it that, well, I only got like 6 people engaged. Well, I mean, you have 48 followers, right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
algorithm is weighing the value of your content based on how many followers you have. So, you're sitting at home, the practice looks great. There's opportunities to fill more gaps in the schedule. But, you're messing around with social media,
Mm-hmm.
where's the priority? And so I always kind of feel bad, like Eeyore, like raining on parades for doctors. But I really see that social media piece as more of a want versus a need.
Yep.
And just seeing social media as a place where your existing patients can congregate and share how much they love you and your practice and what they get from you.
Mm-hmm.
And just focus there. And anytime you provide value to people, like, the natural consequence is profit. So if you're
Yeah.
providing value to your community, all of the rest of it will follow. And if you get a bunch of followers, great. Like, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger machine you make it, the more resources, time, effort, energy, team members, stuff that you have to point at it. So again, I don't try to be ER, but that's
Yeah,
just the
but
way I look at it.
so Sean, the our clients that are working with our financial advisors like to hear this. They like to know that, okay, Sean's strategy is that a community is where the patients are going to come from. There's only 1% of dentists that, like you said, that are going to attract someone to fly from New Jersey to Salt Lake City. More importantly, the local grade school and the farmers market and the folks down the street are my clients. So again, Sean is focused on the strategy and not the concept that just looks like the marketing picture, right? Of like, I have a website, I have followers, but they're totally irrelevant because it's just numbers until the true numbers are what we see on the P&Ls on the monthly basis
Right.
of new clients, new patients, and the bottom line of the practice, and some of that being attributed to smart marketing, story-based marketing that
Yeah.
you're sharing.
Yeah. And just do a gut check. Like, just ask yourself, why do I want these followers?
Mhm.
Specific social media. Why do I want, is there some kind of a need that I have? Like, do I feel like the practice isn't maybe performing well, or I'm not profitable? And so I think big social media account might be the answer. And a lot of doctors see, oh, well, practice B down the street, that doctor does funny TikToks. So if I do funny TikToks, I'll have their results, right? And again, I'm not anti-social media. I just see it more as a want versus a need for the doctors in terms of their time, their team's time. You can do it, document your story, connect with the community, etc. But if TikToks don't make you comfortable, like, your practice is not going to fall apart because you don't have a TikTok account. Like, it's okay. And there's so many people that are out there that sell stuff to doctors, and it's selling stuff, but
Yeah.
there's really no ROI to it. There's no rhyme or reason to it other
Yeah.
than just, I want a TikTok following.
It's hard to sell your you're somebody in marketing and you sell to a doctor and we're going to do the following in TikTok for you. And that doctor has no interest in and is afraid of TikTok, doesn't have an account. And it's like, and I just paid you X for setting up my TikTok account, which I'm frightened to use.
Yeah.
And again, these are the financial decisions that we hear as well. And again, I feel like Sean and the art of dental marketing is aligned with our advisors based on um, getting to know the client, um, understanding their needs, and making financial decisions that are going to benefit the business, not just I purchased all these deliverables and assets for social media and a website.
Yeah. And on the social media tip too, like, don't get me wrong, you can definitely use it on the ground marketing capacity. And I spend a lot of time with clients doing that. So reciprocity with small businesses are huge. So think of it on a small business level, right? So if you and your team get donuts every Friday from a certain bakery, or you guys go to lunch at the Mexican restaurant next door, or you guys all work out at the gym down the street, whatever it is. And I always tell doctors, like, document your life. Adding more stuff to your schedule and to-dos, it's not a good recipe. But if
Yeah.
you're already, like, if you and your spouse go out every Friday night to this certain restaurant, just tag yourself and post that. Like, put that on Instagram, tag that other small business that's in your area, because their followers see it. Typically, they're going to share that you shared it, and you can
Mm-hmm.
start to build relationships. But that's not just doing social media for social media, it's strategy, right? But just start documenting your life and your days and what you're doing. Tag other small businesses, build that community digitally, and then use your social media to actually make you money, right? It's actually going to turn into patients. So that to me is way more impactful. And that's where we have a strategy session. I do quarterly calls with our clients when they want to go through this kind of stuff. But a lot of times it's like, just, Doc, look at what you're doing now, what you and your team are doing now. Where can you just take a photo and tag somebody? Where can you tag somebody in a post? You don't have to share everything, right? There's a balance. But if there's certain places, certain things that you're doing every week, a gym you go to, a smoothie bar you love, a coffee shop you love, tag those people, talk to the owners and tell them, hey, I'm going to post about you guys on our page. We love coming here, right? Best coffee in town, whatever. Use social media as a tool to build your business. Don't just post for the sake of posting or
Right.
chasing followers. Like, you can actually use it to make money.
Yeah. So good, Sean. Sean, as we wrap, share with us what you would share with the Dentist Advisors clients as the clients are uh, seeking for the partner that you have described in working together to build a marketing plan.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be at the summit, so make sure we get tickets for the summit. It's June. I don't have the dates in front of me.
20th.
Um, June 20th. So hoping to see as many people as we can up there. I think we're doing a breakout session. I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about story-based marketing up there. If you were at the event in Vegas last year that we were at, it's going to be kind of similar, but just explaining how this works.
Yep.
I wrote a feature in dental economics last year that in their August, the marketing issue, that basically lays this framework out of how you do this. So feel free to go read that too. But we have special pricing and stuff available for Dentist Advisors. You guys are a trusted partner, obviously. Knowing you, knowing Reese, knowing Matt, really believe in what you guys are doing, and we're really good at helping them make money. And then you need somebody to help you invest, help you, appropriately plan. And so I like having that partnership with you guys, just because working with doctors and developing the friendships that we do, it's nice to be a comprehensive partner. Like, we can help with what we're good at, but we have really great partners in all these other areas that can help you as well. So huge, love being a part of the community with you guys, love showing our unique approach to dental marketing. And yeah, I mean, we're just trying to spread the gospel that it's not always about spending money, rattling the dinner bell to get people's attention. Like, if you're not converting traffic, the ROI in your marketing is always going to be rough. And I see so many doctors are like, oh yeah, my marketing's good, I'm getting 40 new patients. It's like, oh well, let's look at your web traffic, and it's like, you're only converting 1%. Like, you could be getting double the new patients, but you have all these people that are leaving because you're not saying anything really to them, or their needs, or what they want emotionally. And the other big piece of this too, and we can close with that, is not only can you use this to convert patients, right? But you can convert the right patients. So you don't have to have, well, I don't want to see Medicaid people. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we can use language to make that not happen or negate it more, right? Um, the dreaded implant patient, right? Like, you get the implant person in your chair that's never going to be able to afford it. Unfortunately, they have no real business being there. And again, as a dentist, think of the ticker over your head that's always churning. And if you're doing things that aren't making you money, that your profitability is dropping. And
Yeah.
there's only a finite number of years that you're going to do this. So by making a few more strategic decisions, you really can be more profitable. And then reach out to Dentist Advisors, of course, for help investing your profits and things like that, so you can hit your long-term goals.
That's right. Sean, so good to meet with you and talk with you and to um, uh, collaborate on these topics together. Two businesses that want to work side by side, the client and you're spot on. Thanks so much for your time, Sean, and excited to work with you, and we'll be in contact and talking soon.
Absolutely, man. Excited to see you in Utah in a couple months.
Right.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.